Hey everybody, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the 3 best pieces of advice that I know of for planting young pine trees. I grew up in a tree planting family. My dad was actually a forester for over 30 years, and there's 3 really critical things that can help you with this process. The first of those is how to get your young pine trees for free. Right now I'm actually standing under a power right-of-way. I don't know if you can see that pole right there at the tip of my finger. There's overhead power right here, and the way you get a ton of young pine trees for free is when you're driving around, especially under these power right-of-ways, you'll see a bunch of these young trees, pine trees growing here that you can see behind me. These are actually kind of big, a lot of these spruce, but there's little ones mixed in here. If you contact the landowner for whoever owns spots like this, oftentimes they will let you come transplant as many of these trees as you want. Whoever owns this overhead power is going to come spray or mow all the young pines in here every few years so that they don't hit their wires up above. So I was able to contact this landowner, super nice guy. He actually just helped me out with the tractor and load up a bunch of young pines, but he had no problem letting me come dig up a bunch of young red pine and spruce from underneath this. That's the first tip, is get these trees for free, you guys. I rarely pay for conifer trees. I think I've dabbled one time with the Soil and Water District, and I like the transplants better because I'm not planting bare roots. I'll show you how I pop these out real quick and then how I transport them back to my house. Here's another one. You don't want to grab transplants that are too big or they just won't grow. You end up harming too many of the roots that way. You want these real little ones. These are going to have the best chance at survival. This is how I transport them back to home. Just slide them right into the pickup. You can see I got a nice red pine right here. All right, back home, I'm just going to load some of these up into my wheelbarrow, run them back to the food plot, and I'll show you how I plant them in the ground. One key is just don't let these roots dry out. So if you're going to transplant them the way I'm doing it, you want to just run these home and then get them right in the ground. All right, you guys, the second critical step to planting young pine trees successfully is you have to have a way to protect them. So there's a few different things you can do, but there's one system here that works really well. This is something that my dad actually invented. Again, he was a forester, worked for the federal government for over 30 years, in charge of the entire reforestation program, where they planted literally tens of thousands of trees every spring. And they experimented with everything from spray-on repellents to caging, like wire fencing, to bud capping, all that, but the repellents would wash off and the deer would browse the tops of these trees in the winter and spring and fall. And you know, the fencing was cost prohibitive, and the bud capping had some success, but the deer would actually bite through the paper bud caps and still browse the pine trees down. So my dad invented these things right here. He calls them browse blockers. They do just what they sound like. They stop deer from browsing your young pine trees. How they work is you just slide one over your arm like this, grab the top of the tree, the young pine tree. You can grab a few of the top growth candles you want protected, and then you just pull it down over them. That's simple and easy. And then there's some clips that come with them, these little plastic clips, and then you just clip the browse blocker netting right onto the trunk of the tree. You put these on in the fall and leave them on through the spring. Like right now where I'm at in Minnesota, it's late April right now. We have not hit green up where I'm at. So I'm actually gonna put browse blocker on my young red pine trees, even now in late April, because there's not enough natural browse for the deer yet, and they're gonna browse my young red pine if I plant these. So if you guys are interested in buying some of these, you can. My dad actually has a little website and sells them online. They'll come in a bag like this. Again, they're called browse blocker. I'll put a link down below in the description and in the comments. And if you guys are a subscriber to my channel, and when you go to check out, if you want to buy some of these, just select you found this on YouTube, and my dad will throw in 10 free ones for you. So he literally packages them up himself and ships them out usually the next day from when you order. They come right away. They're a little over $1 a piece for these things. I think you can get a 25 pack for about 30 bucks. And again, if you're subscribed to my channel and you select that YouTube box for how you found this, you'll get 10 free ones. You'll throw them in there for you. So this is a really great way to go. If you guys want to order some of those, great. If not, that's cool too. There's other ways to protect your trees. This is just a really good low cost option that my dad came up with, because a lot of stuff is just too expensive to even be able to afford if you're trying to protect a lot of these young trees. All right, the third critical tip, you guys, is picking the right tree. So especially for these young pine trees, as we talked about, the deer love browsing on them. I really like these white spruce because in my area the deer will not browse these. I don't know why that is exactly, but like red pine, white pine, jack pine, balsam, you name it, the deer just hammer them. These white spruce do not get browsed by the deer, so they're really kind of a wonder tree for that reason, especially by like food plots or for screening. The other reason I really like these trees is because they keep their needles all the way to the ground. As long as they have enough room around them here and enough sunlight to grow out, they're gonna keep these branches way down low to the ground. They're gonna screen my neighbors over here. They're gonna screen my own movement as I move around on my property from the deer. And you know, like a red pine or white pine, for example, they'll provide excellent cover for the first, say, 10 to 15 years of life down low on the ground where a deer is at and humans are at. But after that, they start to drop their lower branches and shut off their needles lower to the ground, and they're just reaching up, you know, trying to get as high as they can, as fast as they can. Whereas these spruce, totally different. They're gonna keep their branches way down low. They're gonna provide that screening cover where I want it on my property, down low to the ground for many, many years to come. So picking the right tree is really critical, especially if you're trying to do like I'm doing here, a permanent plot screen around my food plot, trying to screen my own movements for getting to deer stands and moving around on my property. These white spruce are awesome, awesome trees. They're not the only tree you can go with. Again, I'm doing a mix of red pine and jack pine with these because of how sandy and arid my ground is here. Jack pine love that dry, arid landscape. So do red pine. They both thrive in those conditions, extremely drought tolerant. These white spruce do okay. They'll grow here, but I'm doing these red pines first mixed in because they're gonna get that big jump for me, get me that cover right away. In the next 3 to 5 years, these red pines are gonna be really tall, get me that cover that I'm looking for out here. And then as those red pines continue to get larger, these spruce are gonna be filling in underneath them, keeping consistent cover down low where I want it, consistent screening cover. So I love a red pine and white spruce mix, which is what I'm doing right now today out here. And so think about those things when you guys are picking your trees. If you got any value out of this video, I ask that you do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. Think about subscribing to my channel if you'd like to do that. I hope you guys are having success with your trees. Let me know in the comments what you're planting in your areas, and let me know if you know why deer don't browse white spruce. That would be interesting to know. Till next time, you guys, take care.